Oh, hi, hi, hi. Oh, hi, hi. Hi. You guys, I'm convinced some of my best videos are when I should be doing something else, but it's like, ooh, I've got an idea. So I sit down and it's just random, right? Like totally impromptu without any notes or whatever. So just so you know, I had to like spin around because I couldn't slide in here because I've got so much stuff spread out that if I were to like roll in here, I'm gonna knock something over. I've got stuff like all over my. Well, this is just so you know, this is like a dining room table with the leaf in the middle, right, where you can like either the leaf. Well, it's like 5 feet, so I've got stuff like strewn all over here because. Do you guys have time for a couple of like funny stories? Like, I've got, right? I've got, so now there's something I have to get off my breast. No, my chest. All right. My third nipple, right? Uh, so here's the thing. I was on the phone with one of my ex-girlfriends, all right, for 6 hours. No, that's a lie. If I were to tell you how many hours we actually were on the phone, you would think we're both nuts, which we probably are. All right, but so you do the math. So seriously, from 1:30 in the afternoon until 5 in the morning, and it's like, okay, so just so you know, if my voice sounds echoey, I'm in the bathroom. She's like, well, yeah, I know. I've done that like 3 times since we. No, she's highly intelligent. We talk about psychology. We both kind of study psychology, and just we get along great. Even though she's an ex, it's just not going to work out. But you can still, right? She's brilliant and funny, and yeah. So anyway, so she said, Jim, I watch your videos once in a while, and here's the thing. Don't make your viewers feel guilty for leaving comments. I'm like, Scooby Doo, like what? She's like, yeah, you talk all the time. I'm sorry, you guys. I want to reply to your comments, but it's like, I'm so, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And she called me out, which I appreciate, right? We all need someone like that in our lives, right? Tell me what I can improve or what I'm doing wrong. So you guys, no, leave comments. There's no, don't, I hope you guys aren't feeling like, oh geez, if I leave a comment then he has to respond to it. And no, I don't have to, but I want to. Does that make sense? So there's like psychology going on with that. So anyway, my point is, I don't know. Don't worry about leaving comments. I might respond, I might not, but like I said before, I read all of them. So I want to, and I keep bumping my hat against them. I want to reply to all of them. All right, because, and I've said it over and over and over. You guys are awesome, right? So I'm not gonna say that again. Now, number two, my dining room table is full of electronics and all kinds of stuff that I want to show you. Some funny stories. You know why? My dad was a mechanical engineer for Whirlpool Corporation. He invented vacuum cleaners, like those big, heavy, like drag behind these big canister, like you plug it in and the lights dim, like, and this power head thing, the hose attached to the canister you drag around. He invented a lot of that. So brilliant. We didn't know, you guys, we didn't know how smart my dad was until he passed. then we found out he actually had 13 patents of stuff that he invented. He didn't get a dime, right? Because he worked for a corporation. So the corporation, gets the patent. But I have a full-size blueprint of, a part that my dad designed. And it takes a blueprint this big, old school draftsman, right? The table that's tilted and all these gadgets, the things that help him draw, amazing. So, yeah, I'm going to figure out a way to put that on the roof of my camper, right? This actual blueprint from my dad. So anyway, my point is highly intelligent, so, yes, if I can say it, and, it's okay to acknowledge stuff in ourselves, right? It's not that I'm proud of it, but it's just a thing. I don't know. It's just a thing that I know. Anyway, yes, I'm highly intelligent. All right. And I didn't always feel that way. I grew up with very low self-esteem. That's a whole different topic. But anyway, so yeah, I'm smart and I think of things. And here's the thing. A couple of funny stories. Because my dad was a mechanical engineer, all right, process that a little bit. I invent things because I think genetics, or I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, it has to be genetics, right? I invent things in my head. For example, I bought a new mower a while ago, right? Remember that? So the new mower, is self-propelled, the front wheels, you've got this little thing, and, if you want it to go slow or fast, it just depends on how much right? So front wheel drive, all right? But the wheels are slipping, if the grass is long, which I haven't mowed yet. It's Monday. It's Monday after work. I have chemo tomorrow. I still haven't mowed yet. But because I was on the phone with an ex, it's all her fault. But anyway, I have to go out and mow, and I'm processing, right? Front wheel drive, but they slip. They're smooth. The wheels are smooth. So because I'm in Minnesota, do you guys know what studs are? You can buy tires that have studs in them, and they're usually illegal to use on highways and stuff. But if you're driving on ice or whatever, yeah, you have studs in your tires, right? So seriously, I'm processing ooh, I have an idea. So this is going. I haven't put it back on my mower yet. Do you think it'll work a little better? It's gonna grip and it's gonna take off and drag me behind, right? So it's I'm intelligent. I can figure stuff out. So yeah, let's put studs in my mower tires. So another thing, just bear with me, you guys. So I invent stuff, right? So I have to, I'm fishing, right? Or I'm setting up for fishing, and I have to get line onto my reel, right? You have to wind the line, but then something goes wrong and I have to redo it. And so I have to unwind that entire thing, So here's something I invented, and it's got duct tape, with varying, diameters. So I can take a reel and stick it on here, depending on where it fits where with the duct tape is. Well, now I can like wind and unwind my fishing reels like really fast. I'm just saying. All right. So remember, wait, hang on. Remember I showed you a picture of the my kayak, my 2-person kayak that I got a great deal on, right? And by the way, I did take a dexamethasone this morning because I knew I had to, mow and do all that. I had a bunch of stuff to get done. So if I'm talking really fast, it's not me, it's the chemicals. All right. So, but my doctor is totally okay with it. Now, remember I said, and try to keep up. All right. Your head is probably spinning right now. Sorry. I'm moving really fast, but remember I showed you my fishing kayak and I built these these fishing rod holders that stuck out the sides, right? Out of 1-inch, PVC tubes. It's cheap. You can get this at, Home Depot or whatever. It's cheap. You can invent all kinds of stuff with these, right? Because, you can buy all kinds of like different fittings and, do I have a fitting? No, I don't. They're over there. So I did a bad thing. Again, dexamethasone is one bad thing I did. Well, I kind of thought I'm processing, right? Thinking about my past fishing trips. I've done 4 of them. Ask me if I've caught a fish. Yeah, no. So I'm not fishing, I'm salading. I said that before. So anyway, these fishing rod holders, all this wacky PVC tubing, and I'm turning around and like adjusting things and pulling the rods out and, getting new lures on there and I'm messing with stuff. Well, that stuff like fell apart. So the rods are going, I almost lost another one. I already lost one rod in the lake, when, something went wrong and the rod went, and it fell out. Jeez. So I did buy another rod, it's like whatever, but a longer one for casting. All right. So anyway, so I did a bad thing. I bought something that I think is going to make my fishing a lot more efficient. Because obviously my results have been, less than exemplary. My results have been 0. So I'm thinking, let's make this more efficient. What about trolling? So I've got, because it's a 2-person kayak, I've got 2 of these paddles, right? But I only need 1. So I'm out there like doing this, and it's like, in my mind, science, it's, this is very inefficient. What would be more efficient, you guys, where I could just sit there and have the kayak go? Yes. Oh, geez. The thing weighs, I don't know, 40 pounds or something. It's like really heavy. I don't know. I might end up returning it because it's just so freaking heavy. I don't know how. Well, no, I kind of have an idea how. Wait, hang on. Sit, stay, good boy. Okay, you're such a good boy. You're extendable and you're adjustable and you've got different speeds. So what could possibly go wrong? So I'm gonna design. And here's the funny thing, you guys. And this is all one take. I'm just talking. I'm not editing, right? So which is maybe the best way to do it. I don't know. But so because my dad was a mechanical engineer, he figured stuff out. So I'm sitting on the couch and I'm actually designing this new mount this transom. It's called a transom, where this thing clamps on, right? So it's going to have to be, I don't know, a couple layers of plywood or cedar fence, to save weight, because cedar is really lightweight, right? So I don't know how I'm going to do it, but this big heavy thing has to clamp onto something. Then the tubes connect to the kayak with Velcro. Velcro, 3M or whoever invented it. Brilliant, right? So, so I'm designing this whole thing like in my head and drawing diagrams. And then I go back and I revise the diagram and it's like, the physics, right? Science. The physics are, this thing is going to be like going like this way. So I have to support, right? So I have to go to Menards here in Minnesota or Home Depot or whatever, Lowe's or wherever you are, buy a bunch of parts. Some of them will be glued together because I don't want them to move, but I have to fit all this stuff in the back of my truck. So some parts are removable, but they're going to have these special bolts. I'm going to drill a hole through both parts. Bzzz. Then there's a special, I don't know what it's called, but it's a special bolt with a little locking thing on it. So you put the bolt through there and then you lock it into place so it can't fall apart like it did on my last couple fishing trips, and people are laughing at me. No, they weren't, but I'm, it's like I've got these fishing rods and all of a sudden they're like, right? So yeah. So I need to drill a hole and put this bolt through there and lock it into place so everything is like sturdy. This thing weighs, I'm not kidding, this thing weighs like 40 pounds. But in Wisconsin, I can have 3 lines in the water at a time. So 2 off the side, right? Just trolling. And I've got tons of, I could show you all kinds of really cool stuff, for my lures or whatnot, drop shot and bobber and, blah, blah, blah. And then I've got another rod, just throw it out there and let it lay across the, right? So correct me if I'm wrong. So how does this thing get powered? Well, it's 12 volt, right? And my trailer is going to be 12 volt. Wait, hang on. I think I bumped something. Wait, hang on. The power system in my trailer is going to be, right? I still have to keep bringing it back to if I get to actually do that. So anyway, the plan is big batteries in my trailer, big solar panels on the roof, 1,600 watts of solar, 8 solar panels on the roof, two circuits, arrays, 2 arrays running at 48 volts going into the camper, right? You connect them in series instead of parallel, right? So anyway, and then 1,200 amp hours of batteries. And they just ran a sale where I could get them for like 40% off. And I almost pulled the trigger because they're really cheap. 4 300 amp hour batteries. All right, 1,200 amp hours. That would run my air conditioner like all day, So because I'm planning on going out in the middle of nowhere, no electricity, no water, no sewer hookup, self-contained in my trailer, right? So yeah, I'll have to eventually go into town and dump my tanks and get fresh water. That's no big deal, right? But lithium iron phosphate, it's new technology. So what's in your car, this is not what's in your car, all right? You can't do that with a car battery. These things are way more lightweight. This, what I just showed you, is a 50 amp hour battery. It's going in the kayak to power this thing. And I'm going to design, there's going to be where the fishing rod holders come up like next to me. Yeah, I'm going to drill a hole in here. I'm going to have a switch sticking out so I can turn this thing on and off without like turning around behind me and like doing it manually or steering it or whatever. So, it's, science. So, yeah. Am I nuts? Probably. But I'm thinking, and I've thought about this a lot, you guys, and I wanted to tell you about it. And it's a little bit serious, all right? But since I was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, right? Whatever, it kind of hit me, right? And I don't know if I told you this story. I think I did, like, I don't know, a long time ago. Right when I was first diagnosed, and that was after I bought my camper, right? My 30-foot trailer. I'll never forget it. I went outside. It was probably midnight or whatever. Stars were gorgeous. I'm in the driveway next to my camper. I'll never forget it, you guys. I put my hand on the side of the camper, and the words that came out of my mouth were, I want to. I want to. And I remember thinking, when I put my hand on the trailer, I almost apologized to the camper. It's not that I'm anthropomorphizing, look it up, attributing human characteristics to an inanimate object, or whatever. Put my hand on the camper. And I'm like, I'm sorry. I don't know if we will get to do this, because that's the reality. So you guys, like, it's in my mind, like right now, and I was planning on shooting a separate video, like talking about this, but I honestly feel like I have done like more living after my diagnosis than, 5-10 years before that. Yeah, I moved into my house and I did all this crazy stuff in here or whatever. But after the diagnosis, yeah, I go in the backyard and I look at the stars. I hope you guys do that. Those little things, it doesn't have to mean a lot. It doesn't have to be like earth shaking or something. But for me, I have not ever done that before. Never. Before my diagnosis. Now I'm out there pretty often. And you guys have seen my GoPro, the stars spinning and stuff. And, the garden and fishing. Before my diagnosis, fishing it just didn't. Does that make sense? But now fishing does, and even if, well, the plan is, yes, I've got it all figured out. I've got this, cart thing with wheels, and I put the kayak in there. It's inflatable, right? Slides in the back of the truck. That's what I'm planning on doing if I go on the road full time. I've got this figured out, like designing the racks. I'm taking the back seat out of my truck, that big heavy, the back seat of a truck. Take that out. Number one, it's heavy. Number two, it gives me a lot more storage. So I'm going to build this wooden rack in the back of my truck so I can slide bins in there and pull out my cooking or, chemicals like my cleaning and the Lysol and all that stuff. So I'm in my head, well, and on paper, I've designed 2 racks. One is going in the bed of the truck, on top of the bin that slides out with my kayak, right? And then another one in the back seat. Organized. Everything is organized. It's all in these big bins, right? That I got on sale for $10, So you guys, this is getting long, but I've designed a thing in my head and a little bit on paper. I have to go to Menards and buy a bunch of parts, and and the proof of the pudding is in the fishing. So I don't know if this thing is going to be too heavy to put on the back of my, my inflatable kayak. Do I care what people think when I'm setting it all up? Oh, heck no. But I think it's kind of funny. Like, I'm assembling all these pieces and all this stuff, and, and if somebody says, that's really cool, I'm like, yeah, my dad was a mechanical engineer. He was brilliant. So, I'm not saying I am, but, maybe, just maybe a little, maybe just a little, maybe, so, thanks you guys. Thanks for comments. I mean that. So, but don't feel don't feel guilt about leaving a comment. And I'll just call her K, but she made a good point. She, made me think about it. Like, don't make your viewers feel guilty for, because you're not getting back to all their comments. Just stop it. Just quit saying that. So I'm not going to say that anymore. All right. So, all right, I got to go. I gotta go. I have to try this out. I'm going to try this Minnesota mowing thing out. All right. Thanks, you guys. Thank you. All right. Bye. Oh, jeez. Science.